All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Monday. I cannot believe, and I know many people maybe can't believe that Thanksgiving is this week. Today is Monday, November 20th. And goodness gracious, November is almost over. I just really can't believe it. So in continuing with November's theme, I brought out my Scorpio mug because November is my birth month. And so I just wanted to bring out my mug with my zodiac so that I can enjoy it. I did get the birthday rewards throughout the month. So I did get a free burger yesterday. So just enjoying the last we have of November. So this Facebook Live, we have a special guest, but before we bring him on, we want to give our condolences and remember First Lady Rosalind Carter. She obviously was the closest advisor to Jimmy Carter, and they shared an incredible life together. And Jimmy Carter, for those of you that might not know, served one term as president, and they were together 4 decades. After that, they were global humanitarians. She died at the age of 96. So if you get a chance, the Atlanta Journal, Constitution's beautiful obituary of her, and all the service that she did to the United States and around the world. And the state of Georgia is a celebration of her incredible life and the life she shared with her and her husband. So definitely you should read about her and understand and know what just an amazing couple they were, an amazing person that she was. So our thoughts go out to the family of Rosalind Carter. And then some local news: the Aurora University Spartans defeated Cole College 20-7. If you're interested in the first round of the NCAA Division III football champions. So this is the first NCAA Division III playoff game at AU in program history. This past weekend on November 17th, I hope you were able to get out and enjoy the Winter Lights Festival of Lights. That was on the 17th. The city's Christmas tree outside the GAR Memorial. Go and check it out. And then on the 18th, 1,000 individuals in the Turkey Trot in Aurora to raise funds for the school district as well. So today we do have a gift of a guest. So an individual that I think is really helping out. November, of course, Military Families and Veterans Month, and we have Jacob Perez. He currently serves as the Deputy Director for the Business Enterprise Program with the state of Illinois. So not everybody knows, but we have the Business Enterprise Program. They work with minority, women, veterans, and persons with disabilities, business owners, and they work to foster an inclusive and equitable environment that supports underrepresented businesses to increase their capacity, grow their revenue, and enhance their credentials. So previously, he served as a Great Lakes Region Director for the Small Business Transportation Resource Center, and he's been working with DBE firms to access opportunities with the United States DOT. So he has a bachelor's degree from University of Illinois. I'm from NIU, but we won't hold that against him, from Champaign-Urbana, and his MBA from Dominican University. So he's here to talk about the Veteran Business Program. So we'll let Jacob introduce himself and share with us some great things that you have to say about the business world and entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much, Representative Kifowit. And hello, everybody. Again, thank you for the introduction. Jacob Perez, Deputy Director with the Business Enterprise Program. For those that are not familiar with it, we're a state agency, right? And like Representative Kifowit mentioned, working with minority-owned, women-owned, veteran-owned, and service-disabled owners to compete for state dollars. So with that being said, I'll just jump right into the program. Everyone can see my screen well, right? The Veteran Business Program, yes. Okay, very good. Yes, the Veteran Business Program. This is a quick agenda of what I'll be going over through today. I'll be talking about the vendor requirements for the certification, the types of certifications available, the types of applications that vendors can do for the Veteran Business Program, required documentation, some of the recognition partners, agencies that the state of Illinois works with, And I'll go a little bit into the procurement boards as well, the procurement bulletins and opportunities. Again, we're the Business Enterprise Program. We are not a procurement office, but we talk a lot about it because that's the leverage. That's why you want to get certified with us. For these procurement opportunities. So we will divulge a little into that. So okay, next slide here. Certification requirements, right? In order for you to be recognized as a veteran-owned small business, you need to have at least 51% owned by one or more qualified service-disabled veterans or veterans living in Illinois. Again, 51%. This the number one reason why a firm would be denied certification is because of control, right? So it's very important to understand this, right? 51% has to be owned by a veteran or a service-disabled veteran in order to get this certification. You need to have gross annual sales of less than 75 million. You need to have your DD 214. We will ask for a copy of that. And again, qualified veterans who are Illinois residents must hold 51%, and your home office has to be in Illinois. Again, every state's different. This is our veteran business program. Yes, so next slide here. There are two types of certifications that we issue, right? The first is just a VOSB, a veteran-owned small business. And the second, of course, is a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. So these are the two types of certifications we issue related to with a veteran status. Veteran-owned small business means a small business that is at least 51% owned by one or more qualified veterans living in Illinois, or in the case of a corporation, at least 51% of the stock of which is owned by one or more qualified veterans living in Illinois, right? That it has a home office in Illinois and is factually verified annually by the Department of Management Services, which falls on us as well, CEI, the Commission on Equity and Inclusion. Service-disabled business enterprise, right? A qualified service-disabled veteran means a veteran who has been found to have 10% or more service-connected disability by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the United States Department of Defense. So again, those are the two types of certifications we issue. Types of applications, right? We have the full certification, and we also have a recognition, right? These are the ones that the full certification. For the full certification, it's good for 5 years. The first year, you do the full certification, but after that, you just do a no change affidavit. What that means, again, it's a very simple form, just saying that none of the control or aspects of your business have changed. And so it's pretty quick, and that's done on an annual basis. These are the certification documents that are going to be requested. Again, an affidavit of certification, most recent U.S. federal income taxes, most recent individual federal income taxes for all owners, bank signature cards, right? Copies of the W-2 or 1090s for the past 3 years. Evidence of citizenship, residency, right? Your legal passport, permanent residency, evidence of ethnicity for all the owners, current chronological resumes for all owners, officers, management employees, supervisors, proof of contributions by all owners to acquire stock in the firm or startup capital, cover page, and executed signature page for the past 3 completed projects, contracts, purchase orders, whatever it may be, or invoices verifying performance of the requested service, articles of incorporation, both front and back of your home state, bylaws of the corporation, and front and back copies of all stock certificates issued or canceled. Again, the full certification have a life cycle of 5 years, right? Again, that first year being the full certification, and every year after that, just a no change affidavit, right? And again, this will keep your certification active and in good standing with the state of Illinois. Again, the no change application, it's completed online. All you need to do is just submit the signed affidavit, current federal income taxes with all the schedules and attachments, any professional licenses that are associated with the business, with your business operations, and to be in good standing with the state of Illinois. So again, that would be it for the no change affidavit, right? Annual review to ensure that there has been no change in ownership, control, and day-to-day operations. Now we go on to the recognition type of application. Again, that was the full application, right? Going through the full process with us. That means if you don't have any certification with any other state agencies, right? However, if you do have certain certification with one of our state partners, the state of Illinois does offer reciprocity, so we do recognize it, right? For example, we do have our recognition partners with the city of Chicago and Cook County, as well as the Department of Veterans Affairs, right? And this is the BBP program. It's a much faster process, right? So if you're already certified with one of those agencies, the only thing you would have to submit with us is complete the brief online application, and the documents needed are a current certificate, again, from whichever agency, whether it's the city of Chicago, Cook County, or the Department of Veterans, right? A signed and notarized affidavit, current business income taxes, any licenses related to the business, and it usually takes 30 days to process. So again, very quick. And another thing about our certification, which I haven't mentioned yet, it's free, right? There's no cost for either our full certification or the recognition certification. It's all free, okay? So these are the requirements for the recognition. As you can see, a very slimmed down requirement of all the documents necessary to certify you. And it does take 30 days. The full certification takes 60 days, but with this recognition, we have a 30-day turnaround on the longer end, usually much faster, depending if you get all the documents submitted and it's a complete application. So again, that's the BEP requirements. Again, having a valid certificate with any of our BEP partners, those being Cook County, City of Chicago, complete the online registration, and documents needed none. Again, just as long as you're in good standing with the host agency. Again, and that no change affidavit saying that everything you answered in that application is correct, that's what we'll accept. So to get started with one of the applications, you go here. This is our website. As you can see here, I have a picture of our website online, and it's here where you would begin the certification process. And you name it, whether it's a full certification or whether it's one of the recognition ones, the fast track ones, because you're already certified with one of the other agencies. It all starts here. You don't need to be certified to go to the certification portal and register, right? Your certification gives you leverage in this marketplace, right? But any business can come up here and register, right? You can go there right now. As long as you're a small business, register your business. You can look through procurement opportunities, enter your NIGP code, right? And then you can see what opportunities are available to you. But like I said, if you want leverage in that market, then that's where your certification comes in, okay? But here's where it starts. Again, here's our website. And yeah, you just start away and click, and you can register in the directory or start the application certification process. And it's all through here through our website. Just to give you a snapshot of our current numbers right now, presently we have approximately 200, as you can see, 201 veteran-owned small businesses, right? And of those, 79 are service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. 122 are just regular veteran-owned small businesses. And here's a breakdown of the ethnic breakdown of those categories as well. So and this is roughly out of under 5,000 total that we have registered right now within the BEP. Procurement bulletins, right? So once you get certified, right? And once you have your VBP certification, now what, right? Most people just kind of say, all right, I'm in there, I got my certification, I'm already registered in BidBuy or in the CEI website. Now my phone's gonna ring with all these opportunities. Well, that's not quite how it works, right? You've done the first step, which is great, right? But in order for you to really take advantage of it and take advantage of all the benefits, you have to be proactive, right? And one of the first things you want to do is to register with the five main procurement Illinois board, well, with the five big Illinois procurement boards. And you see them here on the screen, right? You have IDOT, Department of Transportation, Illinois Tollway, the Capital Development Board. This is all the vertical build that takes place in the state of Illinois. Institutions of public higher education. This is U of I, UIC, to all the community colleges, and bid buy, again, where all the goods and services that are procured for the state of Illinois. So again, once you're certified, I mean, and not even, you can register on all these bulletin boards now, as long as you're if you're a small business. So then that way you can get more familiar with them. And then once you have your certification, again, your certification just gives you more leverage on these bulletin boards, right? So again, these are the five big bulletin boards that as a vendor you want to be registered in, because then here's where you would get firsthand information of all the available bids and procurement opportunities that are available to small businesses like yours. Recognition of the BEP certification, right? Not only do the five big Illinois procurement boards, right, recognize the BEP certification, but there are several others as well, right, that are in state agencies. We have all the telecommunication companies, you name it, Comcast, AT&T, all of them use our BEP certification to meet their diversity goals, right? Utility companies, from People's Gas to ComEd to NICOR, again, all of these agencies use our BEP certification to meet their supplier diversity goals, right? And as well as you can see others here, the casinos, the gaming boards, again, use the BEP certification. So these are just a few of the many, right? And so again, it's not just the state procurement bulletin boards, but many others as well. So it's that's why I said if you're not registered now, it's something you definitely want to do to increase your range of opportunities. And helpful resources. And the first one up, we have the PTAC. And now they're called Apex Accelerators, but this link is still good, right? And yes, again, and we always recommend going if this is your first time getting certified, or if you're just in the beginning stages of building your business and starting your business, go talk to an Apex Accelerator. Go talk to a PTAC, right? They're a great resource. They're free, number one. They're very knowledgeable about all the certifications, right? Not just ours, right? So they'll be able to guide you in the right direction as a startup as to where you want to go, because it does get daunting. There's a lot of certifications out there, and there are options. So it's a good place to start, right? As well as the DCEO, Small Business Assistance. Again, another resource for you to go to, knock off some ideas, and maybe you have some questions about the certifications you presently have, right? Or the ones that you might be applying to. It's a great resource to learn more information about how to fully take advantage of all the benefits that your BEP certification offers. Right? Because it's a big market, right? And again, there's a lot of opportunities. So once it starts, again, there are resources out there to help you, right? It's not sink or swim. We're there to help. And so yes, thank you. I mean, it was pretty brief, but we did go through a lot. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions, concerns, or maybe something that was left uncertain or I didn't explain well. By all means, please share.
No, thank you so much for going through all that. It is a lot of information. And I know that there are many veterans who get out of the military. They find that being in their own business and being their own boss per se is a little bit of a better fit than trying to fit their skills into the marketplace, because sometimes the skill sets in the military don't line up exactly with for lack of a better word, business skill sets. So when veterans are looking at, and I know you touched on this at the end, but if veterans are looking at either starting their own business, expanding their own business, if you could expand a little bit on what you said at the end, the services that could be available for them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's several, right? Again, one, I would say, again, the Apex Accelerators, right? And I'll go back on the screen here so you can kind of see that website. again, they're a great resource, and they do a lot of the more hand-holding, right, of the whole process, right? Because like I said, that's who they work with, startups, right? So there's no dumb questions, right? A lot of times, like, man, I'm just starting, and you get nervous, and it's, man, I should know this. Well, no, not everybody knows. Everyone starts somewhere, right? Everyone starts somewhere, and you're absolutely right, Representative Kifowit. It's you're your own boss. I mean, so it's kind of again, it's daunting, right? Because but you answer to yourself. I mean, the sacrifice that you'll put into your business, and no one is going to take care of that small business like you. But like I said, and there are resources. There are resources out to support you, to help you. You're not alone in this process. And not only the Apex accelerators, but the small business development resource centers. Those are the other ones, the STBCs, right? Again, they offer their services free of charge, right? And again, it takes time, yeah, but again, you lose nothing, and it's free. Most of the Apex accelerators are located at community colleges. So again, so you can actually go in person as well if you want to get more of that FaceTime one-on-one to get any of your questions answered. But like I said, there are resources out there. Going out there. Again, and it's a risk. I know, being a small business owner, it can be daunting, but like I said, you're not alone. So we are here to help.
No, that's fabulous. And then do you do community events too? Like, do you go out into the community and do fairs and
Oh yeah,
outreach and work with chambers of commerce?
yes,
You come to them and they and bring them information as well?
yes. We do have an outreach department, right, where we do events like this, whether it's virtual or we go to the big. We'll be at the Illinois Vendor Summit the 30th next week. That's the big procurement event. So we'll have a table there, and we'll actually be leading one of the sessions. That'll be November 30th at Crown Plaza, right here, right off of Halsted in Chicago. It should be a good event. There'll be a lot of energy, a lot of information for veteran-owned firms like those that may be attending today.
So that's wonderful. So can people, if they want to attend this event, this vendor event on the 30th, can they go to your website to get more information about it? Because that sounds like a great opportunity that we can share.
Yeah, there is a link there, and I'll be happy to share the link where you can register. It's a free event, just showing up. Again, there'll be a lot of vendors, state agencies like ours, as well as Cook County, City of Chicago, and all the DB and all the transportation agents. We want to get DB certified, right? And those are for federal opportunities. They'll all be there. So it's a great opportunity to just kind of learn some more, build some relationships, and maybe meet some colleagues of yours, some peers that are doing the kind of similar things that you're doing, the business that you're doing, to learn from them as well. So it's a great opportunity.
No, that I think that's amazing, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because there might be some individuals that are watching that didn't quite know about this fair and could really dial in and get some great context out of it. It sounds like an amazing opportunity for folks. And
Yeah.
then when we talk about the Veterans Business Program, when we look at like even service-connected veterans and veterans, what does that help with getting their foot in the door, or being that they're a veteran, aside from other vendors that might be the same but not veteran owned? How does that work when they're veteran owned versus a company that's not veteran owned?
Well, the services are pretty much the same, right? We don't, and we offer all our resources to all the vendors that we work with, whether women-owned, veteran-owned, or minority-owned, right? The difference, however, comes in the opportunities, right? The bid opportunities, right? Because if you're a veteran-owned small business, right, there's different goals, right? So you're put in a higher priority, right, when it comes to like procurement bid opportunities. Again, we don't do the bids. Again, we just do the certification. But that's where the big difference comes in. That's where you, as a veteran-owned business, oh boy, you have a lot of leverage when it comes to these opportunities, right? Because primes, the big companies, are looking for subcontractors. You guys are going to be the first ones on the list, to go and get opportunities that they're going to want to reach out to. So that's where the difference comes in. Not so much as the service or the certification process, but on the back end, on the bid and the procurement opportunities. there's a higher percentage for those veteran-owned small businesses. So that's where the leverage comes in.
No, that sounds wonderful. It's really exciting. And I think it's really exciting and a great great opportunity for our veterans as we were noting that November is also entrepreneurship month. So as you were mentioning, small business owners, they're innovators and they're risk takers and they put it all on the line. And our small business market, I guess, for lack of a better word, is really a huge economic engine that I think people don't really understand, because these entrepreneurs, when they start up and they have technology companies and they expand, they're a bigger portion of our economy than I think most people realize. They just look at the big companies, right? United is here in Illinois, and the big companies, but if you can talk a little bit about how just important our small business market is to the economy of Illinois, I think people would be very, very shocked to understand how much of an economic engine our small businesses are.
Again, and it's been said many times before, small businesses are the backbone, right, of our economy. And again, that's not a cliche. That sounds cliche, but it's not. Again, without the small business that we work with, I mean, things would not move. Again, it's small businesses are nimble. Small businesses can shift from one to another, and they meet needs. I mean, again, like I said, without the small business community, we would be way behind in many things we do. Because you're right. You just hear about the big corporations, right? And these Goliaths, right? That kind of eat up all the little Davids out there, But again, and that's why programs like this exist, right? That's why programs like the BP certification, right, and exist to make it a level playing field, right? To make it a plain level field again, and that's all we're doing, right? Making a plain level field and giving these small business a legitimate shot at some of these opportunities where they otherwise would have been marginalized from. So, and again, and the system knows it. That's why this program has been very successful. That's why, again, we continue to grow, and we continue to get more small businesses in the loop, and then working more with veterans now as well. So yeah, again, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities for there. Not only again, and you start to expand because this is the state, right? Then maybe you might want to get certified with the federal government, and that's a DD certification, right? So you can talk about that certification and how that's different from ours and what opportunities that opens up for you on a federal level, right? So, but every business is different, right? So you need to know your business, your capacity, where you're at, and you also want to know where you want to be in 5 years, right? So then that might dictate the kind of certifications you're going to be applying for or the path you're going to take.
No, that's amazing. And then we'll just end off with you have a mentor protege program, I believe, that
Yes.
kind of helps individuals. Do you want to talk a little bit about your mentor protege program?
I will talk briefly about it. We just hired a director to launch that program. Again, CEI, under the business program, the business enterprise program under CEI is fairly new because CEI was just created 2 years ago. And since then, we haven't had the mentor protege program launch off, but we did hire a deputy director just recently, and they are in the process of working that out. So for next year, 2024, we expect that program to be up and running. And we're already looking for some primes that are open to have mentorees, subcontractors out there. They love to have veteran subcontractors as mentorees. So once that program gets running, we'll definitely let your office know. The information will be on our website for the opportunities that are going to be available through the mentor program.
And then finally, can people go to your website and sign up for like newsletters and information on what you're doing? I know I get it, but I think I get it just because I'm a state rep. But do you have frequent communications with the business community through your office? Can they sign up for a
and we
blast?
have and those are links that you'll find on our website. We are on social media, on LinkedIn, stuff like that, where we announce our events and and some of these functions that we do like virtually, where we give out more, where we just discuss more information about the program and the ins and outs. Yes, but like I said, but for those procurement opportunities, go to the bulletin boards, right? Because I know that's where you hear of opportunities from that. But yes, follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll hear all about different events we'll be at, and definitely you should be at as well.
Well, definitely. I know that my office tries to promote your events as well to the best of our ability. Is there anything else you want to share with the group while you're here? You got a great amount of information, and I think that and we'll link. We've got links in the chat from your website so that people can link straight from our Facebook page. Is there anything else you want to share with the group before we close out?
Yeah. Again, man, I have a lot of respect for small business owners. I mean, having a salary job, that paycheck's coming, I mean, and like you don't have people depending on you. But as small business owners, like I said, you put yourself out there. Again, you're out there competing with other people. If you have people that you employ, they depend on that paycheck. So there's a lot of responsibility for business owners, right? And it can seem like a Goliath, right? It can seem like an elephant in the room, right? And you got to eat this big elephant, But guess what, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? You're right. It doesn't have, you don't have to eat it in a week, in a month. No, but take your time. Again, and there's resources out there to help you, right? Because it might seem huge now, right? But once you start to learn the process, bite by bite, little by little, you'll see that it's, that soon, that it's like, man, you know what? It wasn't that hard after all. Easy for me to say, right? Easy for me to say, but like I said, there's resources out there for you. You're not doing this alone.
Well, and that's what's important, is that they aren't doing it alone. And I know a lot of people feel like they're alone and frustrated, and all the little ins and outs of owning a business, from unemployment insurance to paying the taxes to making sure everything's all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, in addition to then working to try to get certified and bid in for the state. It's a big job. So I'm very proud. I appreciate you coming on, Jacob, and sharing with this, because I know the state of Illinois is working very hard to support our small businesses, and DCO and the Business Enterprise Program, I know is such a resource that I think more small business individuals need to take advantage of.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to head on and give some updates for the state, and then we'll definitely let you zoom off or go to your next event. And we appreciate Jacob Perez coming on the Zoom today and sharing with us not only screenshots and but also really important information. And we're going to try to see if we can get a copy of that PowerPoint. If anybody wants a copy of that PowerPoint, let us know and we can send it off to you as well, or give you some of the information from the Department of from the Business Enterprise Program in the DCEO. And we've talked about DCEO in the past. So what was a week in review? Well, this last week, I participated in the National Climate. It was a Emergency and Energy Security Summit. It was hosted by the elected officials for Protecting America and the U.S. Department of Energy. And what's interesting is EOPA has a unique view on climate change and our environment. And it was started by a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who served overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia. And he realized that the struggles of climate change on the business community over there helped fuel some of the violence against our troops, believe it or not. He was firsthand witness to a farmer whose crops had all dried up, who couldn't feed for his family, getting paid by the opposing forces to incite violence against our U.S. forces simply because he couldn't provide for his family. And that's a lot of things I've been hearing over there is the abject poverty and things that go into that. And so if we don't look at having climate change be part of our national security dialogue, we are putting ourselves at a bit of a risk. And so looking at it in that regards, trying to create a goal in which we are energy independent. Obviously, a lot of our oil comes from overseas. And if we can start weaning off of that oil and start looking at alternative versions of energy, it would be ideal. It was wonderful that the last day of the summit, we actually got a Zoom call. We were able to participate via Zoom with the mayor of Akaska in Ukraine, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning there. He was very gracious to stay up, and it was dinner time for us. And he talked about how in Ukraine the gas lines and the distribution systems are being bombed, and you can't easily repair a gas line or a fuel line. But he was talking about how the influx of solar panels into his area, into his city, has just been a lifesaver with regards to providing energy to the hospitals and the towns that they need, and that a solar panel can be replaced in 2 days versus a pipeline or something like that takes months to replace. And so just the green energy that they are having to rely on in Ukraine because of the oil being cut off by Russia, it has just been, from this mayor's point of view, just really a wonderful thing, and it has helped his town and the hospitals there. And he just expressed extreme thanks to the United States for helping out during this war between Ukraine and Russia, which I can't believe is still going on today. So I was there with fellow veterans from around the U.S. It was a wonderful summit talking about energy independence and the goals of the United States as a whole, in conjunction with the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed, and on the national level. And I've talked about this before. We have really great pieces of legislation that were passed at the national level that the state of Illinois is able to work with and is able to get funding for these types of projects. One of it we talked about, I think, a couple months ago, is the governor working with the surrounding states with regards to charging stations. It's a collective with regards to the states here in the Midwest. We also had EV Box. We have a company coming into Illinois that is going to make fast charging, fast chargers, believe it or not, fast charging chargers for electric vehicles. So this is gaining momentum, and we're doing a really, really great job. And so the summit was really wonderful. I was in Washington, D.C. all last week. So veto session, the last week of veto session, the final week, 22 bills passed the General Assembly and are off to the governor's desk. So there were 6 gubernatorial vetoes that were under consideration. Only one was accepted, which means that the mandatory veto of the bill did not substantially change the underlying bill. Now, so then you could accept it. And that was a bill with regards to procurement. 2 were changed by passing new legislation. There was an energy omnibus bill, and then there was a bill lifting the moratorium on building nuclear plants. Now, the bill that I had that the governor vetoed, we had to pass on a new bill. We passed it out of the House, and will hopefully be considered in the Senate when we come back to session on January 16th. So they are still also working on the Chicago School Board map. There was 2 versions, one passed in the House and one passed in the Senate, and we could not get an agreement on the final version. So we are still working on that. The Senate passed 2 bills that did not get heard in the House. One prohibits employers from voluntarily using E-Verify program, and the other one requires the Illinois State Board of Education to procure a contract for halal and kosher foods. Those bills will be considered in the House after January 16th as well. And then the Senate passed some framework for pawnbrokers, but that didn't get a hearing in the House either. We passed a few bills over to the Senate. Like I mentioned, my one bill, which is for disabled veterans and widows of our veterans and widows of our first responders, did not get a hearing in the Senate, but we did pass out of the House. And then we also passed legislation authorizing our legislative staff to unionize. So that is in the Senate, and then we passed legislation to clarify grants are not taxable events. So those will be hopefully considered after January 16th. Our adjournment date is set for May 24th. So our 2024 legislative calendar is out on the internet. Good morning, Bob. I saw Bob was zooming in earlier or on Facebook, so good morning to that. The governor did sign 5 bills on Friday. He signed a bill to create a task force to review eligibility to hold public office and exempts notaries from logging the notary acts on behalf of a candidate for public office. So when you run for office, regardless if you're Republican or Democrat in the state of Illinois, you have to circulate what's called petitions, and each petition has to be notarized. There are thousands of pages of petitions, and the notaries were getting really, really overwhelmed because the Notary Act said that they had to log every single sheet that they notarized. So we gave an exemption for those petitions. And then there was a sunset exists. So we do a package every year about sunsets, and we look at some of the sunsets that we extend and some of the effective dates. So the governor signed that bill. We had some cleanup language for some state agencies, not very exciting. The governor signed that bill. And then we passed a bill that would make changes to the community mental health public questions process. Which happened was there were referendums that passed in the area that the voters approved the creation of a mental health board to look at mental health on a local level, on a county level. And there was some confusion on the language, not to the fact that it negated the will of the people who voted for it, but to the effect of clarity and the process for the board and the appointment process and some of those issues. So we did some clarifying language on that the governor signed. And then we also signed, he also signed a bill that eliminated the unlimited catastrophic aggregate coverage provision of the Farm Mutual Act for 5 years. So that's the 5 bills that the governor signed that were passed out of the General Assembly during veto session. Again, just going to repeat this. The Affordable Care Act, the health insurance marketplace, runs November 1st through January 15th. You have access to plans issued by 12 companies, and you must enroll by December 15th for coverage to begin on January 1. Now, I know that there are a lot of naysayers out there, and I've talked about this all the time. However, there is no disputing that Illinois is going in the right direction because Illinois has now gotten another credit upgrade. The fiscal outlook continues to improve, and we have received a nine credit upgrades in 2 years. So Illinois showed that the state's account payable is down 94% in 3 years. So that's our accounts payable. So we're paying our bills on time. We've had about $2 billion in the Budget Stabilization Fund, or the Rainy Day Fund, as it likes to be called. We've had our gap basis general fund surpluses since 2022. And the important metrics is that we have fully recovered from the 2.5-year budget impasse, stronger and in a better financial position. So again, Illinois is doing things the right way. The state legislators working with the governor to make sure we pass balanced budgets. And when people question that, the credit agencies are the ones that do the review of all our budgets, our spending, and our financial outlooks. And they are the ones that are giving us these credit upgrades. So you don't have to listen to me, but 9 credit upgrades in 2 years. It hasn't happened in decades. 9 credit upgrades in 2 years. Illinois is going in the right direction, and we should be proud of that. DoIT, which is the Department of Innovation and Technology. I've talked about this, I think, before, has a new initiative aimed at providing students with a platform to innovate solutions to some of the challenges faced by state government. So this initiative is a hands-on experience for students in grades K through 12 and a couple of years beyond that too, to learn about the latest technologies and relevant computing-based pathways. So student teams will select an opportunity to develop an intellect chatbot, help people find information, manage audio, video files, and the Do It Steam newsletter. If you want information on that, let me know. We can give you the website for that. The Department of Labor published administrative rules for paid leave for all law, which will require employees to provide at least 40 hours of paid leave for any purpose beginning on January 2024. And then we are looking through the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency to offer Residential Energy Efficiency Trust Fund Grant Program. This was previously known as the Low Income Residential Energy Efficiency Program. They changed it. But there is funding for energy efficient upgrades to single family and duplex residential properties. Now, we talked about Entrepreneurial Month, but this is Awareness Week, Antibiotic Awareness Week. If you all have never had an antibiotic in your life, congratulations. But antibiotics are a wonderful, just an amazing medical accomplishment. And this week, November 18th through the 24th, is Antibiotic Awareness Week, U.S. Antibiotic Awareness Week. So it encourages everyone to use proper hygiene as another means of reducing infections and preventing antimicrobial resistance. But these strategies of hand washing with soap and water, covering coughs and sneezes, staying home when sick, getting recommended vaccines, including flu, COVID shots, and all these, prevention is the most foundational and successful tool to keep people from antimicrobial resistant infections and their spread. However, now we just need to remind people during Antibiotic Awareness Week that you only use antibiotics when necessary and carefully follow the instructions for their use when they are prescribed. So when they're not used effectively, antibiotics can have an unintended consequence that place patients at risk for serious drug-resistant illness. And there are illnesses that are resistant to some antibiotics. So we just need to be very, very careful. If you are on antibiotics or you're using antibiotics, follow the instructions. And then prevention is the best medicine. So there's your public service announcement of the day. The Supreme Court is hearing cases against staffing agencies accused of suppressing wages. So they are claiming, some staffing agencies are claiming that their industry is exempt from state antitrust laws in a case claiming the firms conspired to hold down wages for their workers. These companies have already lost twice in the lower court, but they contend those decisions are a new interpretation of Illinois' decades-old antitrust law. So Attorney General Kwame Raoul is issuing oral arguments, and they have sued the companies in 2020, alleging that they used their mutual clients to coordinate no-poach agreements, which created a secondary agreement to pay less than the market rate. The three staffing agencies are Elite Staffing, Midway Staffing, and Metro Staffing. Both are headquartered in Elite Staffing is based in Chicago. Midway Staffing and Metro Staffing is headquartered in the burbs. All had contracted with a construction company also located in the suburbs. So that's just a little bit of tidbit news from the Supreme Court. Congratulations, the Illinois Chamber. So Illinois Chamber of Commerce, you have a Chamber of Commerce in your respective areas, Naperville Chamber of Commerce, Aurora Chamber of Commerce, the Aurora Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Clark County African American Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of Chamber of Commerce locally, but Illinois has a Chamber of Commerce for the whole state. And unfortunately, a very, very wonderful person that I knew for many years, Todd Meisch, passed away unexpectedly and left that vacancy as president. So we will welcome the new president of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, Lou Sandoval. Mr. Sandoval is president and managing partner of the Hollow Advisory Group, working with early stage growth companies and Fortune 500 clients. His biography includes executive leadership roles of Brunswick Corporation brand, focused on providing technology and business solutions in the recreational boating industry. The company was called Nautic On. For nearly 20 years, he founded and led Marine Dealership, which served customers throughout the Western Great Lakes region. There was a national search, and he was selected He's a graduate of DePaul University and is an adjunct faculty member for the Hispanic and Latino Executive Leadership in McKinsey and Company's Connect Leaders Program. So definitely congratulations to him. What they are also looking at is Chicago has approved phasing out the current 9.48 hourly minimum wage for tip workers through annual increases beginning in July 2024. Restaurants have started to prepare, including trimming labor costs and cutting operational hours. They're talking about they need to raise menu prices. So they are preparing to phase out tipped wages. Now, one of the fun things that I like to talk about, I like to put in a little tidbit here and there, is the Forest Preserve District of Kane County. Now, Fermilab has a huge bison population, but it's in Fermilab. Kane County is looking to reintroduce the small bison herd in Burlington Prairie Forest Preserve in 2024. So if you think back, before Kane County was developed, Native Americans' fires and the grazing habits of wild animals such as bison provided critical grassland management. So the Forest Preserve reintroduced the key element, controlled burns, to the preserves, but have yet to restore grazing. So in honor of National Bison Day, which was November 3rd, the Forest Preserve announced a reintroduction of efforts at Burlington Prairie Forest Preserve. So they're planning to construct a 6-foot fence for a 60-acre enclosure, which will safely hold the small herd of roughly 15 animals. And that is due to begin in 2024. A portion of the proceeds from the 2023 native plant sale hosted by the King County Forest Preserve Foundation helps secure the spot and scope and will provide excellent viewing opportunities. The American bison nearly went extinct in the 19th century, but thanks to conservation efforts, bison are no longer an endangered species, and the Forest Preserve is ecstatic, as I am ecstatic, to be joining the reintroduction movement. So make sure you swing by and check that out when it is done next year. Toys for Tots. We're still collecting Toys for Tots at our office. You need to bring in your donations by December 4th. The office is 1677 Montgomery Road, Suite 116. And then other events coming up. Naper Lights returned for the holidays in downtown Naperville. Several giant holiday figures, skating polar bears, snowmen, dancing trees. As I said, the lights were turned on Saturday for or Friday for a downtown Aurora, and then lights are going to be accompanied by holiday music in downtown Naperville. The Kris Kringle Market is open. Swing by Rivers Edge Park for the Kris Kringle Market, and they are Thursdays 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thanksgiving, they close a little bit earlier, 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Fridays and Saturdays 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. Saturday is Shop Small Saturday. Shop Small is a nationwide movement to celebrate small businesses on Small Business Saturday and every day to help communities stay vibrant. So again, as you travel, COVID is still spiking. It is not as high as it was in the past, but there's still we've still seen a surge. So make sure that you are taking precautions. And then a quick history. We know the history of the National Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoags did indeed share a harvest celebration together at Plymouth in the fall of 1621. But the 3-day celebration in which 90 indigenous Americans and the English settlers shared fowl and deer got forgotten almost immediately. The story was rediscovered in 1841, so a couple hundred years later, inspiring Sarah Joseph Hale to begin advocating for a national Thanksgiving, hoping to ease rising tensions between the slave-holding South and the free North. In 1861, Southern soldiers fired on Fort Sumter, a federal fort in Charleston Harbor, and Lincoln, and the fledgling Republican Party set out to end the slaveholders' rebellion. The Southern leaders sought to establish their own country based on inequality and slavery in the early years of the war. So then we looked towards 1863, Union victories at Gettysburg and Vicksburg. President Lincoln declared a national day of Thanksgiving. On that day, ministers across the country listed the single victories of the U.S. Army and Navy in the past year and reassured their congregation that it was only a matter of time until the United States government put down the Southern Rebellion. So in November of 1863, Lincoln declared a second day of Thanksgiving. He highlighted the nation's resilience during the war, economic progress, and the promise to end slavery. The following year, in 1864, Lincoln proclaimed yet another day of Thanksgiving, this time congratulating Americans that God had favored them not only with immigration to replace men lost in the battlefield, but with the emancipation of formerly enslaved people. Moreover, Lincoln wrote, he has been pleased to animate and inspire our minds and hearts with fortitude, courage, and resolution sufficient for the great trial of civil war in which we have been brought by our adherence as a nation to the cause of freedom and humanity, and to afford us reasonable hopes of an ultimate and happy deliverance from all our dangers and afflictions. In 1861, Americans went to war to keep the cabal from taking control of the government and turn it into a non-democracy. And at the end, they won. So Abraham Lincoln proclaimed 3 Thanksgivings to motivate and to remind us of what we need to be thankful for. And then finally, I'm going to close out with all that we have to look at in our friends and our families, and we have to keep the family of fallen firefighter EMT Andrew Price in our thoughts and prayers, as today is his service and his visitation. He died of his injuries from fighting a fire, a very, very young individual that leaves behind, their family and friends, just devastated. So please, as we go into this holiday week, keep those individuals in your thoughts and prayers, and keep the individuals that loved him, that were families of him, that were friends of him. Firefighter EMT Andrew Price, badge number 2751, as his service is today, and he would be laid to rest. So with that, have a good week, a good holiday week, and we will be back next Monday, and we'll give you more updates. So have a great one. Take care, and be well. Make sure you be COVID cautious, and we will see you next Monday.